Korean War started in June 1950 and lasted until July 1953. At the end of World War II, in 1945, the Korean peninsula was divided into two countries, the communist Soviet-backed North and the capitalist U.S.-supported South. 5 years later, with China's help, North Korea invaded South Korea. A U.S.-led United Nations force came to South Korea's aid. About 36,000 Americans lost their lives. 100,000 were wounded. More than 8,000 are still listed as missing. But the war and its veterans have been largely overlooked in the United States. Few tourists go to the Korean War Memorial in Washington, but they flock to the better-known World War II and Vietnam memorials. To many veterans, it seems like they are the only ones who remember the Korean War. They arrived in Korea in the summer of 1950, naive and unprepared.
Even the feeling amongst the troops at the time, we'd be home by Christmas or even sooner. This was not going to be any big deal.
Cold weather, we get people in summer uniforms. That's what I'm saying. We were not prepared for that war.
Quickly, the North Koreans forced the American troops into a retreat to Busan, their backs to the sea. Things changed that fall when Marines landed behind North Korean lines at Incheon. From there, they crossed the 38th parallel, invading North Korea, sure the Chinese would not join the fighting. A day later, they found out they were wrong.
It just looked like ants coming at you. As far as eyes could see, you could see them coming.
So this one Chinese, he was running right at me, and God, it's him and I, and he was cut down.
The war dragged on until July 1953, when the Americans withdrew back to the 38th parallel, where they had started. The surviving American soldiers went home to restart their lives and find jobs. They did not get a warm welcome.
They told me, but you've been away 2 years. You are rusty now. Nobody will want you.
Many of the veterans are still resentful.
We have gone to cemeteries, and they say we welcome the World War II veterans, we welcome the Vietnam veterans, we welcome the Desert Storm veterans. What happened to Korea? We're forgotten.
So, 50 years after the fighting started, America's Korean War veterans are still asking to be remembered.